Okay. Okay, ladies and gents, boys and girls, what is going on? Wednesday, December the 21st, 2022. Apologies for the delay there. Was making sure the camera was working well, making sure the camera was up and running. We are good. We are rocking. We are rolling here on this Wednesday. It's National Signing Day. Happy National Signing Day to you all. Very excited to chat here on this Wednesday. And yes, Hunter Kelly, we are here. It was not just you. The screen was black for a moment. But again, we are rocking. We are rolling here on this Wednesday, December the 21st, 2022. I see Wesley Bowles, Stephen Borwell Jr. We already got a spam call off the jump. Lant, Lee Hopkins, Travis Allen, Gene Lott, Jonathan Lee, Keith, Chase Floyd, Kayshawn, Connor, C. Youngblood, Brendan. Merry signing day indeed, my friend. Yes, we are rocked out. Big welcome home guy. We're rocked out in the welcome home because, of course, again, Gad, what's going on? Ben DeRosa. Again, of course, it is National Signing Day where really games are won today. Championships are claimed today thanks to the signing of some of our favorite players and some of the elites in college football making their destinations known. Really, really exciting stuff. And I want to hear from you. 843-790-3377. Guys, of course, as always, TDC brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. Go download the Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com. When you do, use the promo code TSUS to receive a 100% deposit match up to $100. You can play anything and everything from college sports, pro sports, everything in between, guys. They have got it for you. So many fans and listeners of the Spurs Up Show and the Daily Crow have made tons of money with our friends at Prize Picks, and you should as well. Again, guys, that's our friends at Prize Picks. Go download the app or go to prizepicks.com. Use that promo code TSUS at sign up to receive a 100% deposit match up to $100. Be sure to check them out and tell them that Chris from the Spurs Up Show sent you. We got a text in the text line. What's the deal with Marshawn Lloyd? Yes, yesterday the worst kept secret on social media was that supposedly, and I say supposedly, this is per sources in the building, that Marshawn Lloyd apparently, of course, into the transfer portal, as we all know. It sounded like Maryland was not going to take him, or they were no longer interested in taking him. And so Marshawn Lloyd, I think, was possibly pondering coming back to South Carolina. Now, I can tell you from folks that I've talked to, I don't think this is a likely final result. I do not think it's going to happen, and I don't know if that's because of a Marshawn Lloyd thing. I don't know if that's a South Carolina thing, but I do not think it's going to happen. But, of course, that caused a stir on social media yesterday. You know, we had some passive-aggressive tweets yesterday from people in regards to, we posted the grass isn't always greener. Even Justin Stepp got in on the action a little bit. So, it's, interesting to say the least. Interesting to say the least. It looks like, I don't know, different folks, Gamecock Central, others. Again, I've talked to folks from inside the building that say there was a moment in time, at least over the last 48 hours or so, where he was wanting to come back. It's not happening, though. Marshawn Lloyd will be not be coming back to South Carolina, which is not surprising to me at all. So there really is no point in conversation. But again, a text I got yesterday, my guy John Rice, obviously tuning in or voicing his voicing what's going on, guys. By the way, the phone lines were closed. The phone lines are now open. I do apologize. I had the phone lines closed up. We are good now. Crystal Hewitt says, how do I get a towel for the Gator Bowl? Love watching. We will be at the TSUS tailgate, Crystal, in Lot J, or you can order online, tsus.store. tsus.store. If you go ahead and put that order in now, I can get that towel to you. But probably the easiest way, I will have those towels on hand with me at Lot J at the tailgate outside of the stadium at the Gator Bowl. And we will start at the tailgate at 11 o'clock. So anyways, like I said, the Marshawn Lloyd stuff yesterday, that was a lot of fun. Again, I wasn't the one that started the rumor, so please don't shoot the messenger here. But yeah, that was the big rumor yesterday. It's sounding like that. I don't know what the situation is with Maryland, if they want to take him, if they don't. But he is not coming back to South Carolina. That is a done deal. That is a done deal. So, anyways, guys, want to hear from you. Of course, it is National Signing Day. The letter of intents are rolling in for the Gamecocks. Really exciting stuff. Really exciting stuff. And one of the last 24, 48 hours or so, what a week it's been for Gamecocks football. Shane Beamer is the man who just does not stop in regards to putting in the work. It's absolutely crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy just seeing what's going on. Obviously, all the welcome homes, and it's just wild, dude. So, and you look at South Carolina's class sitting in a really good position. Of course, guys, podcast did not drop today, but it will drop tomorrow in a full National Signing Day 2023 breakdown. We'll talk about things such as the overall class, talk about the needs that were addressed. We'll also talk immediate impact player, sleeper of the class, best players offensively, defensively, overall grade, all that good stuff. Also, guys, tomorrow's show, full breakdown of the men's game. Gamecocks taking on Western Kentucky on the basketball side of things. Women are actually playing right now against Coastal Carolina, a noon tip at the CLA. Our good friend Connor McComish, Mr. Beamerball himself, is in the building. So shout out to Connor. Shout out to all those at the CLA right now supporting the Lady Gamecocks. And yeah, really, really fun stuff. Really good time. So again, really appreciate you all tuning in. An exciting day for sure. I asked the question, I think it was last week, has the transfer portal and NIL taken away some of the juice from National Signing Day? And as I sit here today, I think the answer is still a resounding no, right? You still feel like as important, and the transfer portal is massively important. Do not get me wrong. It most certainly is. They're both important. Special about National Signing Day. There's still, I think it's just, there's something special about investing your time, your energy, your emotion into a kid, and that kid looking at your school amongst all the other options and picking your school. Like that's something that it is a jolt to a fan. It's of course jolt to the coaches, to the program, but to a fan, it feels good, right? It feels good. That's like, these guys have chosen us. You know what I mean? They have chosen us. Of all the places, some of these guys, they could go anywhere in the country. They choose us. So really, really cool stuff. Really awesome stuff. And again, guys, I do want to hear from you, your thoughts on the class to this point. Jeff Gullich says, I don't like the two different signing periods. Jeff, are you referring to in regards to like how there's almost two signing days? Is that what you're saying? I get what you're saying. I mean, the early signing day is great in regards to getting guys on campus earlier, getting them on campus earlier. The early enrollees, I think it's great for that, obviously. But I mean, here's the thing, Jeff. I hear what you're saying, but 95% of the guys, they go ahead and sign and make the decisions now. I mean, the only guy we're really waiting on, Lenoris Sellers will announce on Friday. I think he announced he's not signing until Friday. And then Nick Harbor will not sign until February. So that's really the big one. That's the big one. And I tell you this, you look at this class, and again, we'll break it down more so tomorrow on the podcast and on TDC and everything else. But, I think Shane Beamer, you got to tip your cap. A great job by Beamer and company. I think addressing needs, right? I mean, we understand, and I know Travie will enjoy this. I know Travie will like this because we're always talking about the run game, running the ball, stopping the run. You could tell there was an emphasis and a focus on that in this class. Offensive line, defensive line. I mean, the big uglies you picked up. Getting Big Tree to recommit, but Marquis Anderson. I mean, the fact that your top in regards to the composite, right? Your top signee is an offensive lineman, right? That really says a lot in regards to this class as a whole, and what the overall theme of this class was, which again I think was just the trenches. It was a trenches heavy class. It was a class addressing needs again in regards to defensive playmakers, linebacker. I think the one thing I look at the class and I say, would I've liked to have seen maybe a couple more big playmakers on the outside at wide receiver, yes. But I think if you land a Nick Harbor, right, also what you're doing in the transfer portal, I mean, you got to factor in the tight end position and who you've got coming in with that with Trey Knox. Also, if you get Juice Wells back, and again, you need to develop some of these young guys like Omega Blake, Landon Sampson, you do that, you'll be fine on the outside. But, all in all, guys, I mean, you're probably going to finish with a top 15 class, top 20 at worst. But you might finish with a top 15 class. So I would say, again, a job well done by Shane Beamer and company. Absolutely incredible. And for his second full cycle, there's not much more you can ask for. I mean, listen, if you're recruiting at a top 15 clip on a year in, year out basis, you're going to win a lot of football games. I mean, you're going to be an 8-4, 9-3 program every single year. And if you get the right quarterback, you've got a chance to do even more. So I think a great job all in all. I think it's a great class. And I'm ecstatic for the class. I think when I look at the class, I think there's a lot of multi-year contributors. I think there's a lot of guys that, and I know we say that on a year in, year out basis. I'm not naive enough to think like we say that every year, right? We say that every single year, but I really do look at this class, and I think there's a bunch of guys in this class that you're going to be hearing their names a lot over the course of the next 3, 4, 5 years. So really exciting stuff. Let's see. Let's get into your questions. Dalton says, I think National Signing Day is still fun, even with the portal, but it's hard to not think because of these recruits could be gone in a year. Yeah, Dalton, that's a good point. That's a really good point. I think that, it's interesting because the portal exists, and, most likely, and this isn't meant as a slight, it's just the reality now. It's just the reality that, there's probably going to be 3, 4, 5, a handful of these guys that do hit the portal, probably this time next year, that are hitting the portal. And it is what it is. It's just the reality of college football, and that's okay. That's why you recruit. That's why you recruit. That's why you use the portal to your advantage. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But all in all, again, I think National Signing Day is still really special, and it's a cool thing. And today's been a lot of fun. They've been rolling in since early this morning, and we've been getting at it since early this morning, and it's been a blast for sure. Dalton says, do you think the same thing happened to A&M this offseason will become the norm in college football? They signed the best class in the history of sports, and now all these guys are in the portal. Well, I think a lot of that has to do with the type of season they had, and did they oversign? I mean, I don't know exactly what's going on in College Station. I mean, it's a bit of a mess. It's a bit of a mess, no doubt. It's a bit of a mess, no doubt, there in College Station, but I don't know all the details of why guys are jumping from there. I don't know. Let's see. Gamecocks currently sitting in the top 15 in recruiting. How about that? I mean, it's just wild when you think about the momentum Shane Beamer's built and what he's doing. And I mean, I would tell you guys this. I mean, again, as long as recruiting is going well, then you're building your program and you're on an upward trajectory. Obviously, winning on the field helps, but yeah. So, anyways, guys, want to hear from you. Coleman Hall. I mean, A&M had a tremendously awful season. Jimbo's lack of leadership is more than apparent. Yeah, things are not going well. Timmy Pierce, Luke Doty staying. Does it make sense that Rattler's probably gone? I don't think so, Timmy. I don't think those two things go hand in hand. Again, maybe have we thought about that? Maybe Luke Doty's just a Gamecock lifer. He just does not want to transfer. Luke Doty would rather just be a Gamecock and just ride out the rest of his career at USC. I mean, guys, listen, we can only speak from our vantage point, right? Until we have Luke Doty on the show again, which we did over the spring. I didn't ask him this question, obviously, but until we hear it from him, we're just making assumptions that maybe, and I know this might sound so crazy, and listen, to me, it's kind of crazy too, but like, maybe Luke Doty's number one concern is not playing. I mean, I'm not saying that in a negative way, but like, if his number one concern was playing, or maybe he's a guy that even if Rattler comes back, he says, you know what, I'm going to stick it out and I'll be the starter the next year. I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's all guesswork. But I don't think it goes hand in hand. I do not believe that it goes hand in hand that, oh, well, Rattler's obviously gone. That's why Luke Doty's coming back. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case. So let's see. Jada signed with Colorado. Yeah, Deion doing work, man. We're far from the only team that Deion is affected. We are far from the only team. So far from the only team. Again, guys, appreciate you all tuning in. We're supposed to have JC Sherbert on the show at 1:15, but JC hit me up. I think he was having some complications today, and I'll just leave it at that. This was at 9:48 a.m. Yeah, y'all keep JC Sherbert in your prayers. I'm not exactly sure what is going on, but I don't think anymore we're actually going to have him on the show. So, guys, we got a wide open day for your questions, your comments, your calls. Also, guys, Shane Beamer will speak to the media at 3:00. We will not stay live for it. We will cover it, but we're going to rock TDC until 2:00 as normal. Got some other things to do today. We got the show to record, some other things to do behind the scenes. So I appreciate you guys understanding. And if we do not get JC Sherbert, again, we'll just take your questions, your comments, and your calls. I'm shocked we've made it 18 minutes without a call. That's just stunning to me, but here we are. Anyways, let's see. Connor Parsons, is Rattler a Heisman favorite if he comes back? I definitely think he'll have odds, Connor. I don't think he's the favorite, obviously. But, I think that he's definitely going to have odds, no doubt. And he could be. I think he could be a sleeper for it, no doubt. Let's jump to the phone lines here.
Call from
Robbie Davis, Zaxby's Hall of Famer.
Robbie, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Appreciate you asking. What's up?
I went on the Gamecock app to look at the recruiting class that we have so far, and so far I like it.
I'm glad to hear that.
And this is going to sound cliche, but I really don't give a hoot. Where it begins, here's how you begin to build a winning program to win championships. All right, and I'm talking about conference championships and national championships. Okay, just to clarify. All right, you win by getting players that are going to be playing in the trenches at the line of scrimmage, and that is exactly what Beamer is doing, and he's proving. I'm telling y'all, I told y'all before, he's going to prove a point that you can win at South Carolina, and he's proving that with who he's bringing in. But like you said, of the guys that we have in this class right now, how many of them is going to be gone in a year? We don't know. They might wind up going somewhere next year. We don't know. If they do, then fine. We'll just get more. That's just how it is these days, okay? But the guys that believe in the vision that Beamer is building, they will stay. The ones that don't will leave. It's that simple.
Robbie, I'm not sure if you noticed this. The top signee in this class, top rated signee, is Marquis Anderson from Roebuck, South Carolina, my friend. Shout out to Roebuck.
Yes, sir. Roebuck. On Roebuck. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They're just built different in Roebuck, I guess.
But and I just, and obviously with the players that we have coming in, we'll probably have more people enter the transfer portal, and so be it. That's That's college football now. The transfer portal, like I said before, the transfer portal is a thing. It's here. You're going to have to live with it. It is what it is. And like you said a couple weeks ago, the transfer portal giveth and the transfer portal taketh away. That is what it does.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. That is a fact. Yeah. So I feel confident with Beamer. I never doubted Beamer in regards to recruiting when he first got the job. I really didn't. I thought that he was going to recruit, and we've always recruited well. I mean, we've never really we've had one bad class. Like, I mean, you look over the last decade plus, we've had one bad class, and it was literally the year that Muschamp got fired, and we're coming off COVID, and we're transitioning to a new coach. So really, just throw it away.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's I never really was concerned about the recruiting side, but I love the fact, of course, like you mentioned, that Shane Beamer is going to attack the portal, and he does that. He does he does your favorite thing, Robbie, which is attack. He attacks. Shane Beamer attacks.
That is my favorite thing when it comes to sports.
Yeah, just attack.
Is you attack, and just make them work for every darn thing they get. I don't care if it's football, basketball, shoot, even baseball. I don't give a hoot. Make them earn it. Because then if they earn it, they're going to realize, whenever they realize they're going to have to earn it, someone's going to make a mistake and they're going to capitalize off of it. But if you give it to them and make it easy, then it's probably not going to end well. Especially if they have better athletes than you. But I'm really excited for this. Now let's get to the meat and potatoes of the phone call, and you know what I'm talking about. The rebuttal.
Fire away, Robbie. We're all anxiously waiting.
And just for the record, I would say this even if I was not a former employee of Zaxby's. Zaxby's is better than Chick-fil-A, okay? Zaxby's is better than Chick-fil-A for this reason. One, variety on the menu. Two, the sauces that you can get from Chick-fil-A are fire, okay? And I'm not talking about just hot. I mean literal fire. They are very good, very tasty. I've tried Chick-fil-A sauce. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. Zaxby's sauce, on the other hand, is fire, okay? And I found out, whenever I went to Zaxby's yesterday, and I found out my cousin never tried Cheddar Bites, if she wasn't driving, I probably would have slapped her across the head. Okay, but we got some Cheddar Bites. She tried some Cheddar Bites. She liked them. I even told her to dip them in Zax sauce, and she liked that too. And ever since I worked at a Zaxby's, I am telling you, anytime I go into a Zaxby's, I'm grading it the second I walk into the restaurant. And whenever I ordered the Cheddar Bites, and I noticed I didn't have any marinara sauce, I was like, okay, this is not how this is supposed to go. I need my marinara sauce. But Zaxby's I'm not saying Chick-fil-A is bad now. I do like Chick-fil-A. But if I had to choose, I'm choosing Zaxby's. Because the variety is better. You can get nibblers. You can get a big Zax snack. Of course, my favorite thing and yours, wings and things. And you can get a chicken sandwich. The menu just goes on and on and on. And I'll never forget whenever I ordered nibbers one time, okay, and I asked for them to be dipped in tongue torch with the Zach sauce still on them, the manager looked at me like I was crazy. Okay? Literally said this. Do you realize what you just asked for? And I said, yes. That's why I asked for it. I know what words came out of my mouth. And I was also in charge of making the sweet tea. And I think the sweet tea is better at Zaxby's. Yeah, the sweet tea is definitely better at Zaxby's. I've tried both, and the sweet tea is better at Zaxby's.
As a Zaxby's Hall of Famer, nothing you said surprised me, Robbie. I would expect you to be on Zaxby's side. I would imagine that. I did not think you would hit the transfer portal today. We'll just put it that way.
No.
No.
Not going to happen.
Indeed.
Nope. They will sell popsicles in hell before I jump ship on Zaxby's.
Indeed. Robbie, pleasure as always, my guy.
That's my rebuttal.
Yes, I love it. I think you made
my rebuttal.
Yes, John Rice says you're not going to hit the portal unless Chick-fil-A gives you $1 million NIL deal. Then you're gone.
They could give me Donald Trump size money, and I wouldn't hit the portal for Chick-fil-A. So there's your proof.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay.
All right. The man has spoken.
No, I will never back Chick-fil-A. No. Not going to happen. Just like Beamer Ball to the moon, Zaxby's to the moon. Okay? To the moon.
I hope Zaxby's is somehow sponsoring this segment because I'm expecting Zaxby's to be sending a check very soon. So you can tell them I said that.
Oh, goodness. Oh, fun fact. I won the jar thing. We had to figure out how many peanut M&Ms were in a jar, and I was the closest. I was 6 off of the actual number. There was 273 M&Ms, and my guess was 257. So I was closest. And I got to bring them home.
That's impressive. Congratulations.
But that is the best rebuttal I could come up with over the last few days. Okay.
Mm.
That's the best I can do. I did the best I could. If you want to see the original Hall of Fame plaque, make yourself a trip, plan a trip to Roebuck, and you'll see it. It's there.
Take your keister over to Roebuck.
Mm-hmm.
You and your keister.
But and I did something that I thought I would only ever have to do for my youngest brother, but I bought one of my bosses a Clemson shirt. That was the hardest thing I've ever had to buy for anyone that's not related to me. But my boss, Mr. Bryan, is a Tar Heel fan, so I got him a shirt that has all the years that the Tar Heels won a basketball championship on it. So I gave him that as a Christmas gift.
Very thoughtful. Very thoughtful.
But that's all I got. Go Gamecocks, go Vols, and Zaxby's rules.
Robbie, you're the man. Appreciate you.
All right, buddy.
Yes, sir. Take care. Zaxby's rules. By the way, guys, quick score update. Women's basketball, like I told you, taking on Coastal Carolina. 3:51 left in the first half. They are up on the Chanticleers 44-12. 44-12. That just, like, those two teams playing just doesn't seem fair, does it? It really doesn't. It really doesn't. Like, I don't know. Poor Coastal. Poor Coastal. That's what I say. Poor Coastal. Anyways, guys, it is National Signing Day. Appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you all so much. Slapdick McIntosh. Hello, Slapdick. He says in the TDC question channel, how about this content on signing day? Indeed. Hey, indeed. Listen, I tell people this all the time. And I love Robbie Davis, but I tell people this all the time. This show is for you guys, right? So you want to call in or you want to make sure somebody else doesn't call in, keep them off the phone line, right? Y'all call in and box them out, if you will. I'm an equal opportunity call. We just take the calls that come. I'm grateful and appreciative of every single person that calls into this show. Austin Hicks, who's your favorite player out of the signees today? I mean, how do you define favorite, right? I don't want to like. I mean, I think folks love Pup Howard for his energy, for the way that he represents the University of South Carolina. And oh, by the way, he's a pretty damn good football player also. Right, 6'3.5", 220 pounds at the linebacker position. I think he and Stone Blanton side by side are going to wreak havoc over the next couple of years. .9297 on the 24/7 Sports Composite, the 14th ranked linebacker in the country in this class. So it's hard not to say Pup Howard, right? And I think probably over the long haul, not to spoil the podcast tomorrow, because I will talk about this more in depth. But I think probably the biggest immediate impact guy, I think Pup Howard will play immediately. I would be pretty surprised if he's not. Because you think about linebacker guys. Sherrod Green's gone. I think Debo is gone. Is Debo gone or is he back? I think Debo's gone. I could be wrong. Maybe he's not. Either way, Sherrod Green's gone. Brad Johnson's gone. You should get Mo Kaba back, right? Mo Kaba will be back from injury, but you need help at the linebacker position. We all know that. So I think that, I think Pup Howard's going to play immediately. I think he's going to be a big-time impact player for you. And like I said, I would expect he and Stone Blanton to make major, major impacts and be a force at the linebacker position over the next couple of years. So, really exciting stuff. I mean, again, if the Gamecocks, and I tweeted this earlier, guys, but if the Gamecocks land Nick Harbor, I think you start looking at this class and, you think back to the 07 class that Steve Spurrier got that really was the game changer, finished 7th in the country. I think that's the one. I think you start looking at it and comparing it to that class, in regards to maybe this is Shane Beamer's, in 3-4 years, maybe we're seeing the Gamecocks winning double-digit games, competing to go to Atlanta. This might be the class. That's the exciting thing, right? 07, that recruiting class that finished ranked 7th laid the groundwork for what Steve Spurrier eventually accomplished at South Carolina. It's just really exciting to think this 2023 class, especially if you land Nick Harbor this spring, it could serve in that same way. 3-4 years from now, when we're winning double-digit games and maybe we're competing to go to Atlanta, you look back at this class, and it's like, that guy's a stud, that guy's a stud, that guy's a legend, that guy's a legend. And this will be the class that sort of served as the springboard for South Carolina football. That's at least the hope and the expectation. But I think certainly you go down the list, and you've got a lot of guys that are going to be multi-year impact guys and could turn out to be big-time impact players for the University of South Carolina. So I think it's an exciting class when you view it from that standpoint, and I think you signed a lot of really, really good guys. So, yeah, Maz, the 2024 guy. Maz is a 2024 guy. So, yeah, Coach Ford again. He's 2024. So I don't know when he's going to commit, but we got time. Kayshawn, Marquis Anderson's my favorite. Yeah, he's the top-rated player from the recruiting class. So, yeah. Let's see. Hunter Kelly says, no way it'll take 3 to 4 years to compete to get to Atlanta. Hunter, I'm just throwing out a hypothetical, my friend. But I mean, we can talk more about that here in a second. Let's jump to the phone lines.
Call from
Martin.
Martin, what's up, man? How are you?
What's up, Chris?
Just hanging out. What's going on?
Hey, I got a few things I want to say about the transfer portal and Lloyd. I hate Lloyd left, but I hope the conversation went like this. I hope Beamer told Lloyd, hey, thanks for everything you've done here, but when you shop around on us, you're done here. We're not second best to nobody, you know. I hope he takes that approach to the portal so these guys don't try to pull it, you know, don't try to shop around on South Carolina. Like, South Carolina has the best facilities. They're as good as anybody's in America, you know? I mean, there's nothing that you can't get at the University of South Carolina. You know, it's I hope he was respectful when he said it, but I hope that's the way the conversation went with Lloyd.
Yeah.
And us fans, we've been pretty loyal to our team, you know. I mean, all of us have had and you know, we've had our ups and downs, man. We've been riding this wave for a long time, and you know, we just want to see players that are just as loyal as us. And the transfer portal, you asked a question the other day, like, what do we think about it? It's when you get a good player in it, you love it. When you lose a good player, you hate it. You know, it's kind of. But I guess it's college football now. It has took a little bit of a turning point. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I mean, we just picked up Trey. Sure. We just picked up Trey Knox, right, from Arkansas. I mean, you love the portal when it works out that way. I mean, heck, we got Spencer Rattler. You love. I mean, Gamecock fans can't dislike the portal. You can't. You just simply cannot. Right? Like I love the portal, but it is the brutal reality. And again, I think the thing that shook up Gamecock fans so much, and rightfully so. And I don't think it's something, not just South Carolina fans. I don't think it's something college football fans will ever get used to, because it's one thing when a guy like a Spencer Rattler, right? He lost his starting job. Why he'd hit the portal makes a lot of sense. But when a guy like Jaheim Bell or Marshawn Lloyd dips and they're starters, that's tough to stomach. That doesn't make a lot of sense. So
he's running back number one in the SEC. I mean, he's got, where can you go that's better?
Yeah.
As far as opportunity, you know, I don't know. I hate it for him. I hope wherever he goes, he works out. But I hate he bounced out on South Carolina, man. I kind of like that guy. I guess that's why it hurt so much.
Oh, I think a lot of fans. I mean, a lot of fans were rocking his jersey in the stands, man. Yeah, a lot of folks. A lot of folks were. Yeah, it's tough for a lot of people.
He's been my favorite. He was my favorite. Him and Ryan Brewer, man. I for some reason I just felt like they were Gamecocks, you know. And when he bounced out, I don't know. It kind of hurt my feelings, man. I hate to admit that. But man, I hope that I'm excited, dude. I'm excited about what Shane Beamer's doing. I haven't been this excited. This is probably the most excited I've been in my life as far as following Gamecock football, man. I really feel like we're going up, and I think Shane Beamer's young enough and good enough to get us to where we need to be.
I think so too. I mean, I think so too, man. You got to be excited with the way you finish the season, and you know, obviously this recruiting class and what they're doing in the portal. And I think there's plenty to be excited about. And man, how awesome it'd be to, you know, a little bit over a week from today, win the bowl game and go into the off season on a winning note. I mean, it would just, if you thought there was a lot of hype coming into this past season, you know, I think it'd be that on steroids, especially if Rattler and Wells come back for 2023. It'd be absolutely insane. So
people don't realize if you have a quarterback like Rattler, and you can have an average team, man, and win big time football games with guys that just want to play football. When you got a star back there playing quarterback, I mean, win some big games.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you have that game changer under center, man, and I'm excited to see what Dowell Loggins can do with him, assuming that Rattler does come back. And I think it could set up to be a really special 2023 if, again, you get that duo back of Rattler and Wells. It could be a special year, but we'll see.
Well, I'm excited, man. I'm going to stop up here at Chick-fil-A and get me some lunch, man.
I love it.
You guys have a good afternoon.
Yeah, you too, man. I appreciate it, Martin. Take care, brother.
Right on.
Yeah, man. Be good. Great stuff. Listen, great stuff for sure. My guy Frank texts in New York City swag. See you in Jacksonville. I'm an extra large, Frank. I'm an extra large t-shirt, extra large, pretty much everything. I appreciate you, Frank. You're the man. Looking forward to meeting you in Jacksonville for sure. Chase in the TDC Question channel says, Lloyd doesn't hurt me. He never wowed me this year. Had a few solid games, but his biggest games, in my opinion, were against Charlotte and SC State. He can take his unloyal ass somewhere else. # bye Felicia. That is coming from Chase, a.k.a. the Slayer of Queens. So Chase has spoken. I yesterday I was ready to speak on it. Yesterday I thought to myself, you know what, this will be a talking point and something we'll discuss. I don't think there's really a point because it's obviously very evident that like it's not happening anyways. So who cares? I don't think there's a decision to make in regards to, there's no point in me voicing my opinion. Like, would I take Marshawn Lloyd back? But I will say this. I don't have a top. I don't know that off the top of my head, I have a top 5 or top 10 or, lists of my favorite pieces of content I've ever made, right? Because I've made so much content and that list is extensive, right? It's hard to narrow it down to just a few. But I will say that clip I made regarding Jaheim Bell and him entering the transfer portal and stand on business, a lot of what I said in that clip, a lot of it applies to Marshawn Lloyd as well. And I just think, guys, that, I understand that, these are kids and, you enter the portal. Let's say you made a mistake, right? You wanted to test the waters and it didn't go the way you thought it would. Welcome someone back with open arms. Don't hold a grudge. Don't be petty. But I think context is important, right? I think context is important. And I trust Shane Beamer inevitably today. He will make decisions that are best for his program. Let's jump back to the phone lines.
Call from
Hunter, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. What you?
I'm doing fantastic. What's going on?
Yeah. So you gotta have a little faith of having us win a championship next year.
I'll tell you this, Hunter. I have not made my way too early predictions. Am I picking us to go to the SEC title? Probably not, to be totally honest with you. Do I think we're an SEC championship team yet? Does Georgia still exist? The answer is yes, they do. So, it could be a special year. I think it could be a 9. And I don't know yet. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't stopped, looked at the schedule, looked at who's all coming back. When Shane Beamer was hired, right?
Yeah.
I was in it and am still in it for the long haul. And I don't think you build a program in 2 years. I don't think you really even build it in 3. I think South Carolina has to continue to build real competitive depth on the line of scrimmage and everywhere, but definitely on the line of scrimmage as well. So listen, there will be question marks. There will be things you have to overcome next season. You're going to have a pretty much brand new offensive line. Even if Juice Wells comes back, who else is stepping up at wide receiver, right? Is Rattler going to be back? We'll see. In the secondary, your secondary will be a major question. Can you stop the run? There are question marks going into next season. So I'm not trying to put limiting beliefs on what Beamer can do, but I'm also not going to go into year 3 and say we should be going 11-1 and going to the SEC championship. I think that's unrealistic. If you want my honest opinion, I think that's unrealistic. But I'd love to be wrong.
Yeah, no, I had a little excitement just because of Josh Heupel. I think it was his second year or something like that. And he almost brought his team to the playoffs. And I don't know. I guess I was a little too optimistic about it this year or for next year actually, because all the guys we're bringing in, hopefully bringing in Harper, and that'll add towards it. I mean, I guess if the offense would have kept rolling like we did with those two top 10 teams, then I really feel like we could have a chance. But then again, we still have to play at the home games with Tennessee and Georgia. So,
I mean, listen, I'll say this: is it possible to have a special season? I mean, yes, it is. But as great as the end of this season was, and I know that the Discord might roast me for this because find some joy, but as great as the end of the season was, beating Tennessee and beating Clem sucks, I haven't forgotten the 38-6 loss to Florida. I haven't forgotten the embarrassing loss to Missouri. I haven't forgotten the blowout to Georgia. You know,
I mean,
they're still.
If you would have took out those losses and say we won the Arkansas, Missouri, and Florida, we would have been talking about playoffs right now.
Yes, Hunter. If we would have won all of our games, we'd be in the playoff. You are correct. Yes. If we would have won if we'd have beaten the 3 teams that were 6-6, that finished 6-6 that we lost to, yes, we probably would be in the playoff right now. You are correct.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's all I needed. Hopefully we'll be a lot better than 8-4 next year.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I mean, I'd love to see it. I mean, what a year it'd be. Go 9-3 or better. Incredible season. Yeah. Incredible season.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate it, man.
Hey, Hunter, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Great stuff from Hunter. And guys, I would just say this. Let me just say this. I'm just not putting the cart before the horse. I don't expect in year 3. I do not expect in year 3 South Carolina to go to the SEC title. Somebody texts in. We're going to jump into a break in a second. Somebody texts in, though, and says, GC, which I'm assuming you mean Gamecock Central, just made an article about Lloyd not coming back, but Sidelines made something about him coming back. Who do I trust? What do you think? I'll tell you this. Because I saw somebody sent me, Gamecock Central said that, where did the rumors come from? These are completely real. No, it was a real thing. I want to make that very clear. It was a real thing from the people I talked to in the building. It was and just in regards to Marshawn Lloyd pondering the idea, they have spoken to him directly. He's not coming back. So it's kind of dead and done, right? It's done. So really all the other details don't really matter. They don't really matter. So I will say that I think it's a done issue. Marshawn Lloyd is not coming back to South Carolina. He's not coming back. So I would say that he's not coming back. I trust that Gamecock Central, those guys have been in business a really, really long time. And I would say if you're going to choose, Gamecock Central or Sidelines on Twitter, you probably, listen, I'm not trying to throw shade at anybody, but you're probably better off. Gamecock Central, I probably say, is a little bit more reliable. But I think there was some conversation yesterday in regards to maybe Lloyd was having a change of heart, but it's not happening. So kind of end of discussion, period. But anyways, to Hunter, what Hunter was saying, if we would have won all of our games, we would have won undefeated. We would have won in the playoff. But we've got plenty of time to talk about that, and I'm sure my way too early predictions will irritate some folks. I'm just going to tell you guys this. Like, I'm not picking like 11-1. I don't think South Carolina is there yet. I know we're excited. I know that we have a lot of momentum. I understand that we have the opportunity to finish with 9 wins, which would be incredible. Does that mean, though, that we are ready to make the jump from 8-4 to like 11-1? That it doesn't necessarily go hand in hand. Look at what happened to Arkansas. They thought the same exact thing, and they went 6-6. So I'm not telling you that's what's going to happen. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I don't think it's just, a lot of people, again, they think it's just, it goes like this, right? It goes like this. They think, well, we won 7 in year 1, so we better win 9 in year 2. Oh, well, we won 9 in year 2. We better win 11 in year 3. It's like it doesn't always work that way. Excuse me. Each year is different. And thank goodness the season finished up the way it did. And how differently a season can be viewed after 2 games. Just wild. right? Just absolutely wild. But you finish 8-4, and now you have the momentum. And I mean, hey, it's a great spot to be in. Great spot to be in. Guys, we're going to jump into a quick break. On the other side, I want to continue to hear from you. More of your questions, comments, calls, and more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. I want to continue to hear from you here on this National Signing Day. Gamecocks doing work here on this signing day. Jelon Kilgore, his letter of intent just came in. So they continue to roll in. For the most part, I think the class is secured or waiting on just a few. I think Bakari Swain is one. Let's see. Xavion Hardy, a couple of the transfer portal guys. But, yeah, I think everything is moving along as expected. Nothing crazy. No real drama for the Gamecocks today. That more so came yesterday. Getting guys like Big Tree to recommit. Again, a lot of the transfer portal dudes. So, really, really fun stuff. So, let's see. Dalton in the TDC Questions channel says, did you know that if we didn't lose 4 games this season, we'd be undefeated right now? I did not know that. Thank you. Let's get back into your questions here. Yeah, Lynn Turner, O-line's a big question mark for 2023. Indeed. Yeah, it is. It is absolutely no doubt. Joey 80 says 2023, I'll say a 7-5 or another 8-4 season would be good. I think if you can go Joey 8-4 or 9-3, again, like I told you, I think you're on a positive trajectory. I really do believe that. Tyler Knoll, is it fair to say this team should have went 10-2? I'm thrilled with the year we had. Hit the Mizzou and Florida games. Or we had the Mizzou and Florida games left a sour taste in most fans' mouths. 8-4 year 2 is great. It's only up from here. Tyler, I think it's tough to say that we should have gone 10-2. I mean, hindsight's 20/20, right? So should we have gone 10-2? I'll say no. I don't think we were ever, because you have to, here's the thing too. You have to look at where were the teams ranked and what was the landscape when you played them. Like Arkansas, for example, they turned out to not be very good, right? 6-6 overall. But when South Carolina played Arkansas, Arkansas was good. Like that was a quality loss. That wasn't a bad loss. Now, the way you lost the game left a lot to be desired, but Arkansas was a good team at that point. Like Arkansas was the hot team early in the season, right? It was the second half where they fell apart. When you played them, when we played them, they were good. So, no, I don't. I know there's some that would probably disagree with me. But see, those people, those people that think like we underachieved in some way, we should have went to. They pick 10-2 every year. Those are the people that really believe we're supposed to be winning 10, 11, 12 games every single season. So I think realistically, when you look at when you look at some of the talent deficiencies we had in some areas, right? I think 8-4 was a great season. Now, to your point, and I said this over the summer when I labeled Missouri the most important game of the season, right? That it's a game where, and I was proven wrong. I thought that if you lost Mizzou, there's no way your season would be a success. Right? If you lost to Mizzou, there's no way the season could be labeled a success. But even finishing 8-4, that loss to Mizzou, does it not feel like such a black eye on the season? Does it like you mentioned, does it not leave such a sour taste? I mean, I hate to go into 2023 and say that the number one priority is to beat the Missouri Tigers. I hate to say that. I hate to say it because you feel like there's so much more out there to be achieved, but like, bro, that's a game you got to win. I mean, that's a game you have to win. You've got to beat Missouri. You cannot keep, like, Missouri's becoming the new Kentucky. That's becoming the new Kentucky streak, where it's just, it's inexcusable to lose to them on a year-in, year-out basis. And I know Missouri's a better program than Kentucky. I understand that. But it's not like Missouri is it's not like Mizzou is some, up and coming or some, like they're doing what Tennessee's doing. I mean, they're a 6-6 team, guys. They're a very, very average SEC team, and you're still finding ways to lose to them on a year in, year out basis. 4 in a row you've lost to Mizzou. That's got to stop. That has to stop. That's got to change. That has to change. So I just, I think it was a great season. Like I told you guys over the summer, and it's the reason I graded the season an A, right? Is because I said all summer I would have killed for 8-4. Would have killed for 8-4. I mean, guys, you overachieved by all accounts. You overachieved. You hit the over in Vegas. You beat teams you weren't supposed to beat. You won as double-digit underdogs the final 2 weeks of the season. I mean, I know the losses are a bit mind-blowing, a few of them. But all accounts, you had a fantastic year too. I mean, a fantastic year too. The Missouri loss was by far the most baffling. For the second year in a row. For the second year in a row, the Mizzou loss was the most baffling loss of your season. I mean, I just, I was there in person. I still just, it's hard to fathom how bad we played. It really is. It's just hard to fathom how bad we played that day. It's just a horrific day. A horrific day. Anyways, I get sick to my stomach thinking about it, honestly. Jacob says, everything happens for a reason. We had a lot of talent. This group didn't know how to win consistently. The Florida game and the come to Jesus meeting changed the entire mindset of the team. Yeah, I mean, I would argue the Florida game, that was the best thing that ever happened. Because the Florida game was so bad. The Florida game was so embarrassing, it forced change. It forced it. There was no, there was no more Marcus Satterfield. Well, we got a good system in place. I'm doing it. No. It was so embarrassing. It was so pathetic. It was so pitiful. It forced change. It forced change. And sure enough, what do you know? Change paid off. So you could argue the Florida loss was the best thing that happened to this football team. And, I wish it didn't take as long. I wish Shane Beamer or those on staff would have had that revelation after the Georgia game. You'd think Stetson Bennett over there taking selfies on the sideline with 10 minutes to go would have woken some people up, but it didn't. It didn't. So, Chase, Slayer of Queens, says, Missouri was my wife's fault. She said that herself being her first game with me during the season, she's blacklisted at Willie B. I hear you. We'll blame. How about this? Emory Jones going to Cincinnati. Yeah, we will blame the Queen Slayer's wife. Dalton says, I would argue that Florida was a much worse loss considering how bad Florida was. Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. I know I was picking on Florida after they got blown out by Oregon State. I mean, do we think Mizzou was a better team than Florida this year? And that's what Dalton thinks. Mizzou was a better team than Florida. I guess I just look at it, Dalton, as like teams have bad days. Right? I mean, Florida was abysmal. Losing to Mizzou at home, though, there's no wrapping my brain around that. Let's jump to the phones.
Call from
Phil Harris.
to accept.
Phil, what's up, man? How are you?
Pretty good, my brother. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you asking. What's going on?
I just wanted to call in and say it's awesome to have a really good, solid recruiting class for Carolina. Obviously, Shane Beamer moving in the right direction, as we all hoped that he would with this program. Just super excited for the future of Carolina football. And, Also wanted to mention, this is completely unrelated to college football or recruiting classes, any of that sort of stuff. But for people out there that feel a little lost, follow your dreams, man, because if you take a chance, and it doesn't pay off, at least you can say that you did. And if it's successful, you'll be a lot happy for it if you live a passion-driven life, and just follow those dreams, man. Take a chance. Columbus did. Highly recommend it. It feels good to be good. And that's all I got for you today.
Phil, you're the
Go
man.
Cubs.
Well said. Appreciate you, Phil.
Bye.
Phil Harris, what a legend. Yeah, I want to shout out Phil doing his thing with Jack's Rangers, and it's been awesome to see Phil's growth and progression with that. And I got your back, Phil. So you're the man. I appreciate your call and great words spoken. And he's right. Follow your dreams, follow your passions, find what you love, and become grossly obsessed with it. And I watched a clip the other day. It was something like, I'm going to paraphrase here because I'm kind of forgetting, but there's basically a difference between liking doing something or wanting to do something and being obsessed with it. You know what I mean? And obsession is where you really find, true progress and success. And when you get lost in something, right, you get lost in your passion, you become obsessed with the thing, you become obsessed with the grind. Guys, I have an obsession. That's why TSUS succeeds. I've had an obsession since I started. I've been obsessed with it. You know what I mean? It's how I don't know how else you could label it. It's the first thing I think about when I wake up, and it's the last thing I think about, before I go to bed. And I've learned to balance in life, right? Like have balance, but I love it. I genuinely love it. I say thank you to you guys, and I'm grateful because I get to wake up every day and fuel my passions and my dreams and my aspirations. And it's all because of the support system we built, the community that we've built, all of you showing love and support. From the podcast, the Daily Crow, the merchandise, social media, all of the content we produce. Just want to say thank you all so much. So it's really, really special what's going on, and I appreciate it. Let's see. Getting back to your questions. Chicken Ham, yes, I will have towels, $5 a piece. Yes, $5 a piece. Yep, we will have towels. Gene Lott says we have to become consistent. Stop having letdown games. Georgia doesn't have letdown. Smart tells his guys they're going to the woodshed and whooping that ass. That is the mentality of Georgia right now. Yeah, I mean, you're right. And listen, it's funny. I hate Georgia, but I do love listening to Kirby Smart. And I think the way he talks to his team, he'll have you ready to run through a brick wall. I will say, Gene, that when you got a team full of the amount of talent they have, it's a little bit easier to be consistent, right? But I tell you, I made the point of I'm not going to have any crazy over the top expectations going into year 3, but I mean, you kind of think to yourself, man, if Dowell Loggins is the guy and you can find some sort of consistency offensively, and especially if you get Spencer Rattler and Juice Wells return, and if you can find some replacements in the secondary, you're going to have questions next year. I mean, there's no doubt. Every season, there's new storylines, there's new questions, new stars must emerge in some places, but you might be able to do something. You really might, and you'll have to come out of the gate strong. Obviously, that UNC game, that will set the tone. That will set the tone very quickly, but, it's who knows? Who knows? That's the beauty of it. Who knows? Who knows what's in store, my friend? Who knows what's in store? Rebecca's in the building. Rebecca, what's going on? Appreciate you tuning in. Great to have you. Great to have you. Let's see. Just taking a look at everything. Brad Crawford just tweeted us the deepest O-line class the Gamecocks have signed maybe ever. You got 4-star Marquis Anderson, 4-star Oluwatosin Babalade, a.k.a. Big Tree, 4-star Trovon Bowe, and 3-star Jatavius Shivers. And what I love is that Shane Beamer understands, and I've mentioned this before, but he understands you build your program, you build your football team from the inside out, right? You got to have those big uglies. And, we've seen the line of scrimmage issues show themselves over the past 2 years, right? Whether it be offensive line, defensive line, run game as a whole, right? You've struggled to run the football. You've struggled to stop the run. And I think and he talks about that a lot. I think Shane Beamer's very well aware that you need to be able to run the football and stop the run on a consistent basis. I mean, as much as football changes, the more it stays the same. You look at Georgia, you look at Bama, you look at the elites. What do they do better than anybody else? They can take the man in front of them and move his ass out the way. And I think that's what Shane Beamer's focusing on and building in this recruiting class. Let's jump back to the phone lines here.
Call from
Dave Garrett.
And Dave hung up. Dave, give us a call back in, my friend. You got to be patient. I don't know what happened to Dave there. We just had Dave on the line, and he hung up. Tyler Noel, biggest question marks this team has going into next season, is it linebacker and the defensive line? We haven't recruited linebackers at all, minus Pup Howard this year. Puzzling, if you ask me. I think we've recruited them, Tyler. It's just have we gotten them to commit. Now, I will say this, though. You look at the signing class, I think there's probably a few of these edge guys that could play, the linebacker position if they wanted to slide them back, right? I think there's a few guys that could play it. I mean, you never know, right, what plans they've got for some of these dudes. So just from a size perspective, there's a few dudes that I think you could see, playing that position. But you're right. No, listen, you're right. I've talked about linebacker a lot, man. Linebacker is just it's I don't know what it is. Like you look at South Carolina, we've had a lot of great players come through the University of South Carolina, at many different positions. But for whatever reason, it's just been a long time since, we normally have one guy at linebacker, whether it be a Sky Moore, it be a TJ Brunson, it be a Ernest Jones, it be a, what have you, whoever else, right? We normally have one guy, Sky Moore, but it's been a while since we've been actually like really deep at linebacker, and you've been able to look at linebacker and say like we're elite there. I don't think the Gamecocks have really been above average at linebacker since the Jasper Brinkley days. Eric Norwood, Shaq Wilson, those guys. I just ever since then it's kind of been hit or miss, and so it'll be up to guys like Pup Howard, Stone Blanton, etc., to change that. But I agree with you. You got to continue to upgrade that position. Let's jump to the phone lines here. Get
call
Dave
from
Dave Garrett.
Dave, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing fine. First things first, Chick-fil-A. Second thing, man, it was so nice being down in North Charleston and seeing the merch hung up in the store and on the tables and stuff. That was cool as hell. Third, I agree with you. I like Mac Brown, but they must be destroyed. First game of the season. And the last thing, man, I've seen that other people are about to have a conniption fit to see what the Spurs Up Show first lady looks like. So I think you ought to play into it, man. Bring her out in kiss makeup. Make them keep wondering. Hope you have a real good Christmas and birthday. I didn't know you were December 25th baby till I read it. But next year is going to be even bigger and better, man. You deserve it. Talk to you soon.
Dave, I appreciate it, man. You're the man. Thank you so much. All the kind words. Dave is awesome, dude. Dave's the man. Dave's a legend. Yeah, I'm a Christmas baby. I don't know if Miss TSUS would be down rocking the kiss makeup. Golly. Yeah, and on the merch side, man, I appreciate that, Dave. It is super cool, the deal we've had with Palmetto Moon, and I have full confidence and believe it truly is just the beginning, man. It's really cool the stuff we're doing, and really appreciate you guys. Without the love and support, obviously, those type of retail opportunities would not be possible. So just want to say thank y'all. Guys, that being said, we are going to jump into another break on the other side. I want to continue to hear from you. More of your questions, comments, calls, and more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377. In case you missed it, guys, do not believe we're going to have J.C. Sherbert on the show anymore. He texted me this morning, had some complications. Not exactly sure what is going on his end. Obviously, keep J.C. Sherbert in your prayers. Just some health stuff going on. So I'm not sure again what exactly is going on, but obviously him coming on the show is kind of a secondary concern at this point. So yeah, again, I don't want to like startle you guys or anything, but he just texted me this morning, said, hey, don't think I'll be able to make it. Got some other stuff going on. So anyways, I don't want to speculate on anything, but do not believe we're going to have J.C. Sherbert on the show today, which again is really our secondary concern when it comes to JC. So anyways, full day of taking your questions, comments, and calls as well. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Shane Beamer set to speak to the media at 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock, a little bit earlier, I feel like, than his pressers normally have been. So 3 o'clock, Shane Beamer will speak to the media. Beamer ball to the moon, indeed. Beamer ball to the moon. So excited to hear what Shane's got to say. And of course, guys, podcast will drop tomorrow, a full breakdown of National Signing Day. We'll have tons of content tomorrow regarding the class, overall thoughts in the class, all that good stuff, breakdown of the class. And then Friday, very excited. Our Dear Santa episode, our Gamecock fans Christmas wish list episode will drop. I'm looking forward to it. Going to be a good time. That's always a fun one. And looking forward to going into the Christmas weekend with you all. Luke RJ, bro, you were born on Christmas. Yes, I was, Luke RJ. Did your siblings call you baby Jesus? No, they did not, Luke RJ. No, they did not. No, it's funny. I get asked a lot about my birthday and everything, and what do I do? And I think anybody who's got a birthday either on Christmas or around it will probably tell you. You just kind of learn to, and some of you will think this. I don't know, but I just learned to, and I'll say this: I've always been my family's always made my birthday, special, if you will. But you kind of just learn to put your birthday on the back burner. You know what I mean? It's just like Christmas is so much bigger of a deal than my birthday. You know what I'm saying? So, Rebecca, I'll be 32, believe it or not. 32. Crazy to think. 32. I feel great. But I'll be 32. Yeah. It's funny. It's so funny. Like when you turn 30, people literally think you're like dead. You know what I mean? It's like you turn 30 and people are texting you like, how you feel, man? How you feel you're 30? It's like, I mean, I keep myself in shape. Like I know you let yourself go at 25, my guy. And so now you're 28 and look like a slapdick, but bro, I feel great. How do you feel? Like I'm Gucci. I'm Gucci. So yeah, it's just funny how people act like when you turn 30, it's like you're just dead. You got one foot in the grave at 30. You know what I'm saying? It's like, Jesus Christ, give me a break. Anyways, guys, again, taking your questions, comments, calls here on this National Signing Day. The stars of tomorrow are the signees of today. Quick update on the Gamecocks women's basketball team. 8 minutes and 37 seconds left to go in the game. Gamecocks lead Coastal Carolina 83-34. 83-34. Just an absolute massacre taking place at the CLA. 51-point lead going into the final quarter. So pretty wild. Let's see. Sounds like DJU might go to Hawaii. How about that? Interesting. Again, guys, you take a look at this class. I think Shane Beamer did a really, really good job, or has done a good job in regards to addressing needs. And you know, as I mentioned before the break, you know, I think, you know, I've heard Shane Beamer talk a lot about running the ball, stopping the run, and the importance of it. He understands that you have to do that to have any success in the SEC. That's where it all starts and ends. And you can talk wide receivers and all the different bells and whistles you want, and the spread and the up tempo, but at the end of the day, it comes down to blocking, tackling, the fundamentals of the game. And so you've got to have those big uglies up front. And so I think they did a great job in this class addressing those needs. And, you know, again, I think you picked up a lot of guys in this class that'll be multi-year contributors. I think you picked up a lot of guys that are going to be names 2, 3, 4 years from now. I really do. I think you picked up some impact type of dudes. Really, really excited for this class. And again, a top 15 class probably. And then you might still get Nick Harbor, right? The gem of your class might not even have signed yet. But you win in the trenches. You win in the trenches, point blank, bottom line. And Shane Beamer knows that. Shane Beamer absolutely knows that. So, anyways, guys, phone lines are open. 843-790-3377. Excited this time next week. We'll be talking South Carolina and Notre Dame. This time next week, we'll be on the road to Jacksonville. How about that? How about that, man? That just occurred in my brain. This time next week, we'll be on the road to Jacksonville. Luke RJ says, people want to talk about the offensive line a lot, but the defensive line is legit too. NFL size on both sides of the ball. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, Luke RJ, you got to have both, right? You need offensive linemen that can get a sustainable push, and you need D linemen that can disrupt an offense, right? Can get after the quarterback. And everybody's trying to get those guys. Everybody's trying to get those guys, no doubt. But it's just true. You got to have them. You know, you look back at Carolina, 2010-13, right? And you think of Steve Spurrier, and you think high-flying offense, right? You think scoring a lot of points. The reason those teams won so many games, they were dominant up front, especially on the defensive line. I mean, that was a defensive line. Those defensive lines took over games. They took over games. When you got a D-line like that, I mean, you've always got a chance. You've always got a chance. So, again, Shane Beamer was there during that time. He knows that. He's seen what that looks like. He's seen what it looks like to have a dominant defensive front, a dominant offensive front. He knows that's what it takes. But again, I like the class. Here's what I also will say, guys, and this is, you know, because we don't have, you know, we don't have patience, right? So nobody wants to hear this, but realistically, when it comes to this recruiting class, we will truly know how good this class is 2 to 3 years from now. That's when we'll really be able to judge it. Because as we mentioned, right, and it's not a knock, it's not a slight, but it's true. Everybody in recruiting is good. You see the upside of everybody. Everybody South Carolina signed, you see the upside, right? Every 3-star is a diamond in the rough. Every 4-star is elite. Every 5-star is the next biggest thing. 2 to 3 years from now, though, we'll know. We will know. We will know just what type of players we signed. And I think that is what's so interesting. Because everybody you sign has talent. Like, you don't go to an SEC school to play football if you're not talented, right? Like, everybody has talent. But it's the things you do on a day in, day out basis. And it's up to the players. This is on the players. You know, coaches can only do so much. But that's why recruiting's so important, and finding guys that are culture fits and that have great character and great attitude and great work ethic. Because you can have all the talent in the world, but if you get to campus and you party and you slack off and you get in trouble and you don't take it seriously, you're just not going to have a lot of success. versus you get guys that they do the right things. They go to class. They show up to workouts on time. They do the extra work. They approach it the right way. They approach it like a professional while also having fun with it. You're really cooking. And you look back at like 2010, 2011, right? And I think of guys like Marcus Lattimore and Connor Shaw. And when your best players are also your best people, and your best players are your best leaders, and your best players are also able to lead by example, you got something really good there. That's when you start seeing your program really ascend, right? So it'll be exciting to see. You know, we'll find out over the next couple of years. Maybe a guy like Pup Howard's that guy. Maybe a guy like Pup Howard is that leader, right? Maybe he's that leader on the defense. Maybe Marquis Anderson, Big Tree. They're those guys that are, you know, they're those guys that are the leaders up front. Again, the stars of tomorrow are the signees of today, and that is the really, really fun part. And I think that's what makes recruiting so much fun. That's what makes it addicting for a lot of people. That's what makes it fun and addicting for a lot of people, is like just trying to find those guys, trying to find the guys to assemble your championship roster. Chase Orford says, best players or best leaders, Dak Joyner, question mark. Chase, Chase Orvin. My only point was, I'm not saying it has to be. I'm just saying that when your best players are also your best leaders, when you're contributors, you see what I'm saying? That's not meant as a slight on anyone. I think Dak Joyner's an incredible leader. I think he's someone that certainly, you know, because of his commitment and loyalty and all that. But like, I'm talking like, you think back to 2010, 2011, 2012, when, you know, and also when your best players are your best leaders are your best people. Like, it just, as Connor Shaw said when Shane Beamer got hired, the best cultures are player-driven. They're player-driven cultures. So recruiting the right players to build out that culture, that's what you're looking for. And so that's really what you've got to be careful of, or what you got to look for in recruiting. Because again, like I said, most everybody that goes and plays football at an SEC school is talented. Some are more talented than others, but most everyone is talented. Finding the right culture fits and finding guys who are going to push your culture in a positive direction in the way that you want it to go, that's really what you're looking for in recruiting. And that's the job these coaches do. You know, talking to friends, talking to family, talking to coaches, talking to other players. So it's about finding those guys. And so that's why I make the point again, Chase, that when your best players or your leaders or your best people, that's when you have, like Connor Shaw mentioned before, those player-driven cultures. And that's when you really start to have some major success. When you got those type of players in your roster, it makes your coach's job easy. Because Kirby Smart, let's just take example for Georgia. Somebody mentioned Georgia earlier. I mean, Kirby Smart's obviously, you know, Kirby Smart's obviously on their ass. Their coaching staff's on their ass. But they have recruited the right players. I'd be willing to bet you they've recruited the right players in a way. Their players know the standard. Their players set the standard. So when they bring in a new crop of freshmen, the standard's set. The players are going to hold the new guys to the standard. They don't, the coaches almost don't even have to do it. The best teams coach themselves. The best teams don't need their head coach up their ass 24/7. I mean, really. I mean, I was on a team, I know it was high school, but I was on a team, you know, baseball team that, I mean, we could have set the lineup ourselves. You know what I mean? That was probably the best team I ever played on. Like, we were all veteran guys. Like, we knew what the expectations were. We set them. We didn't need coach to tell us to do anything, really. You know what I mean? Those are the best teams when they're player-driven cultures, truly. So But no, listen, I think, like Dak Joyner's a great leader. I think he's a great leader. I think he's a great leader in the sense of just, the loyalty aspect. Yeah. Anyways, guys, phone lines are open. You guys want to voice your opinions on the recruit? Who are you most excited to see? Who are you most excited to see in Garnet and Black? What are your thoughts on the recruiting class? What do you grade the class? I think for the most part, folks are fired up and excited, although, maybe there's not the flashy star power in this class. Right? Like you don't have if I'm nitpicking, I think the one thing that I would say is like, I'd like to see us in the portal pick up some more receivers. I'd definitely like, and maybe we don't need to. Maybe guys like Landon Sampson, Omega Blake, maybe those guys are going to come into their own and be big time players for us. But, I wouldn't mind picking up another playmaker or two for hopefully Spencer Rattler, who I hopefully will be back next year. Also pick up a couple more linebackers. Couldn't hurt. You need all the good ones you can get at that position. But all in all, man, I think, I think you did a great job in this class addressing your needs. I think you did a fantastic job. I really do. I think you really, really did. So, job well done. And again, the rankings reflect that. The rankings reflect that, guys. As we sit here right now, let's see here. As we sit here right now, I believe this is the most up-to-date. The team rankings, the Gamecocks sit. This is on 24/7. I believe this is the most up-to-date. 22 commits. This might be wrong. I don't know, but this is what 24/7 got. The Gamecocks sit 16th overall. 13 4 stars and 9 3 stars, which, again, we talked about that blue chip ratio. You're in a great spot. That's where you got to be. 50% or greater. That's where you got to be. It's where you need to be. It's where you got to be. You think about this, guys. Gamecocks sit 16th right now. 17 and 18, TCU and Michigan. 2 teams that are in the playoff. So pretty wild when you think of it that way. Pretty wild. Now, Michigan does have the number 1 overall rated transfer portal class, I do believe, from what I last saw. What's so wild, though, the SEC is so competitive. You're 16th overall nationally in recruiting. You're 7th in the SEC. Isn't that wild? That's how good the SEC is. And obviously your class isn't done yet, but it's just crazy. Just crazy. It's crazy. And then you look at even after let's see. Anyways, got sidetracked reading y'all's comments. Even after a rough season, Texas A&M, 2 5 stars, 9 4 stars in their class. Number 1 in the country, you got Alabama, Georgia, 1 and 2. So this past season didn't affect Bama too much. It didn't affect Bama too much. How about Miami, number 3 in the country? My goodness, they're throwing the bag, huh? Texas, number 4 with Arch Manning. LSU 5, Ohio State 6. Oregon 7, Oklahoma 8, Notre Dame 9. Tennessee 10, Clemson sucks 11. Florida 12, Penn State 13, Southern Cal 14, A&M 15, Gamecocks 16th, TCU 17, Michigan 18, Auburn 19, Utah 20th. Florida State 21st, Arkansas 22nd, Texas Tech 23rd, Mississippi State 24th, Michigan State 25th. And just for fun, UNC, the Gamecocks, season opener in 2023, UNC is 26th. You look at the SEC, Bama, Georgia, LSU, Tennessee, Florida, A&M, South Carolina at 7. Then you got Auburn, Arkansas, Mississippi State, Mizzou, Ole Miss, Kentucky, and Vandy at the bottom. Ole Miss only has 12 commitments. Strange. Yeah, Travi, based off what 24/7 saying, I'm looking at it right now. We are 7th in the SEC. 7th. Travis says illegal shit going on. Travis, like, what is illegal these days? Everybody can get paid. NIL's legal. Like, everything's basically legal at this point. So what illegal shit could be going on? You know, I mean, but maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Rebecca, what is up? What is up? Yeah, that JUCO D lineman was a big one. That was a big pickup for sure. Let's jump to the text line here. Love to see us building what I believe will become a dominant offensive line. Only time will tell how soon. Tommy Wallace. Tommy, appreciate that, my friend. Great stuff. Great stuff. Again, guys, Shane Beamer will speak to the media at 3 o'clock. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to what hearing Coach Beamer has to say. Really exciting day here on National Signing Day as the letter of intents continue to pour in. Really, really good stuff. Really good stuff. Again, guys, I want to say thank y'all so much for the continued love and support, man. I want to say thank y'all so much. My guy, John, right? I appreciate you, John. John texts in one simple word, penis. Thank you, John. Appreciate that. Great stuff as always from John Rice. Legend. I don't know if John wants to play the penis game or what's going on, but that is what John's got for us today. So let's see. Okay, so Alex Mitchum says things haven't changed since this morning. Yeah, Chad Goblin, in case you missed it, J.C. Sherbert did not join us today. Had some issues on his end, I think, with some health stuff going on. So just keep J.C. Sherbert in your prayers. I don't want to like speculate or speak for him, but he had some stuff. He hit me up this morning. So Luke RJ, when's that Chris Phillips cooking show dropping? Yeah, my entire personality, Luke RJ, has become making breakfast. So yeah, did so again this morning. It just absolute pleasure, truly. So I'll let you know when the cooking show is dropping. Guys, we're going to jump into one final break. On the other side, I want to continue to hear from you. More your questions, comments, calls, and more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Final 10 minutes or so in the Daily Crow, taking your questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377. Yes, Aaron, I know it is time to update the watch party screen. Yeah, those are done and gone. I need to update that. I do realize that, my friend. I do realize that indeed. I will get that updated ASAP. So that's my B. That's my B. Anyways, guys, we'd love to hear from you. You want to squeeze in a last-minute call. Again, podcast will drop tomorrow morning. Podcast will drop tomorrow morning. Full breakdown of the class, of the signing class. Really excited to talk Gamecocks recruiting. We'll talk everything from the biggest immediate impact players, sleeper of the class, best players offensively, defensively, overall grade, etc. And also, of course, on the podcast tomorrow, we will briefly highlight the game against Western Kentucky basketball returning to action. The Hilltoppers are 8-2, so it might be another rough night. Games at the CLA, SEC Network on the big channel. On the big channel for those of you who still care about basketball. So, Travi, I think it just depends on SEC Network reporting. We're 6. I think it depends on what service you're looking at. I don't know, man. 6, 7, whatever. Travi, whatever makes you feel good, my guy, whatever you want to go with, that's what we are. How about that? I don't know. Top 15 class. That's all I really give a damn about. Aaron Thompson, we will begin. He says, how about a clock until baseball first pitch? We will begin the countdown for baseball 31 days until first pitch. So, mid-January. So, I mean, of course, I'm looking forward to it, guys. You all know I'm a huge baseball guy. I love it. It's the time where I separate myself, I feel like, in the content space because I love counter baseball and I'm truly passionate about it. I get just as fired up for baseball as I do football, man. I freaking love it. So looking forward to it. And again, we'll start that countdown, like I said, about a month away or right at a month away from first pitch. And we'll also start breaking down this team and talking position unit previews and really excited to do so, man. It's a new look group, going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, looking forward to talking baseball. So excuse me, my bad. Anyways, guys, I want to continue to hear from you. Really excited to get down to Jacksonville. Again, this time next week, we'll be in or on the road to Jacksonville. So looking forward to it. All the Gamecocks that are going to be down there, y'all let us know. Here we go. Chase Floyd says he wants a breakfast taco. Thank you for the super chat there, Chase Floyd. You're the man. I've already hashed it out with you. I've already hashed it out with you in the Big Cock Club Discord. Craig Phillips says, you want to skip Friday's show and can play some golf in the subarctic weather on Friday. Craig, that wouldn't work just because the plan is I'm going to do TDC Friday from the studio and then we're going to head home and go home for Christmas. So going to go home, see the family, hang out, all that good stuff, do the family thing. Looking forward to that. And yeah, so I appreciate the offer though. Definitely soon. There's no rush, Craig. There's no need to go play golf in like 40-degree weather. I'm not that desperate to play. I'm itching to play golf. Don't get me wrong. I'm itching to play. I will play very soon, but there ain't no need for all that. there ain't no need for all that, my guy. There ain't no need for all that. So, Gabbard H, my sleeper is Montec Rames, even though he may be he is a 4-star. Yeah, I mean, again, you got to be excited when you look at all the guys South Carolina got on the defensive line. It's really, really cool. So yeah, really cool. I mean, you addressed a need. No doubt you addressed a need. So that's a big pickup for Kentucky, man, getting Devin Leary. That's a big one. That's a big pickup for Kentucky. Big pickup for the Cats. It's crazy when you look how late in the season we play them next year. I think it's the week before the Clemson game. So What that means for the game, I don't know. But, yeah. Kayshawn, Chris, when do you predict us to make the playoffs? Man, I don't know, Kayshawn. I don't know, man. I'll tell you this. We're going to have a lot better chance when the playoff expands to 12 teams. So, yeah. Anyways, guys, appreciate you all tuning in. Really, really exciting stuff today with National Signing Day. Again, Beamer speaking to the media at 3 o'clock. And again, I'm very pumped for the class. I think, again, you did a great job of addressing your needs offensively, defensively on the line of scrimmage. Also, I think Pup Howard leading the way. If you can get Nick Harbor in the spring, that would obviously be the gem of the class. But all in all, a very solid class. I don't know that there's really one flashy playmaker that you got, but you addressed your needs, and that's what it's all about. That's what it's truly all about. Now, if you can get Spencer Rattler back, if you can get Juice Wells back, they're already on your roster. It's kind of funny. They're already on your roster, but those are big time players you are recruiting, if you will, to return next season. But all in all, I think it's a class that continues to elevate the program to keep you on a positive trajectory. And I think you applaud Shane Beamer and company for their efforts, his second full cycle. And, really excited to see these guys in Garnet and Black. And I think you have a lot of guys in this class that are multi-year contributors, put it that way. I look at this class as like a foundation class, right? Again, it may not have the flashy receivers or quarterback or playmakers, but when you're talking line of scrimmage and you're talking guys that are going to do a lot of the dirty work for you, impact guys for the next 3, 4, 5 years, I think that's truly what this class provides. A lot of talented players in the line of scrimmage. And again, like we talked earlier, guys, Shane Beamer understands you build your program from the inside out. You got to have those guys up front. You got to have the big uglies, because as much as the game changes, the more it stays the same. It's about blocking. It's about tackling. It's about the fundamentals. And you got a bunch of those guys like that in this class for the line of scrimmage, at the linebacker position. Again, guys that I think are going to be multi-year contributors for you. So all in all, I think a great foundational class for Shane Beamer. And I think one that a lot of these guys, we look back 3, 4 years from now, and we're going to say, look at how many, the list of guys who are going to make significant impacts, I think is going to be very long. So, yeah, line of scrimmage for sure. Both sides, Aaron. Yeah, both sides, no doubt. No doubt. Lots of athletes in the line of scrimmage. Brad Crawford highlighted this might be the deepest O-line class, or one of the deepest we've ever had. One of the deepest we've ever had. So, yeah, and then Caden McKay, to your point, Lenoris Sellers, we might be getting him on Friday. We probably are getting him on Friday. So, I say all that. You probably are going to get your quarterback or get a quarterback in the class. But I think it's a great foundational class. I think it's a great foundation class. Like, you got to, as you're building your structure, you got to have a solid foundation. That's how I view this recruiting class. I think you're in a great spot right now. And again, if you can get Sellers on Friday and you can get Nick Harbor in the spring, I think this is the best class you've hauled in since 2007. I really do. I really do. In regards to impact players, addressing needs, and then getting, again, that cornerstone of the class, Nick Harbor would most certainly be that. Guys, that's going to do it for us as we creep up and get to 2 o'clock. Yeah, Swain also tonight. Yeah, that'll be a big one. That'll be a big one for sure. All right, guys, 2 o'clock. Appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you all so much. Again, check out or stay tuned for the podcast, I should say, that will drop tomorrow morning. And, of course, pod tomorrow and Friday, back-to-back days. And if you missed anything today here on the Daily Crow, go check it out on our podcast feed. Drops every single day at 3 o'clock after the show. Other than that, Shane Beamer speaking at 3. We'll have full coverage. Stay tuned to all the content, of course, guys. Bleeding out the eyeballs here on this National Signing Day. And again, thank y'all so much for the continued love and support. I truly appreciate it, guys. Appreciate y'all. Take care. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, and we will talk to you all